Hello everyone and welcome to 33 Lucknow Meetup. So as a part of Mac's birthday, Max is turning 10, so we are celebrating Mac's birthday. So for the topic for our today's discussion is integrating with Salesforce platform event. Guri, next slide please. Yeah, so uh, some safe harbor statement. Both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose only. Organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirement. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. Some housekeeping. So a recording of this meetup will be uploaded to event page within 24 hours. Uh, if you have any question, you have already got the mic access, so please feel free to unmute and have your questions. Okay. Once the event is done, you'll get a feedback form. So I will request you please fill up that form and let us know about this event. If you have any other topic in mind which you think should be there, you can suggest us and we can take it over there. Guri, go on presenter mode. You are on reading mode, so other
Okay,
things are also visible. Go on presenter mode, please. The next to that, to the right of what you have selected, the last one,
okay,
the
okay.
last, yeah, this one.
hmm
Yeah, much better. Regarding the organizer, so Akub and myself, we are the organizer for this meetup. So we are just keeping our introduction, and now we can start directly with Gur Simran. Thank you, Gur, for taking this topic, uh, how to integrate Salesforce along with MuleSoft, and I think this will be very informative for all. Uh, that we can have the option of both Salesforce and MuleSoft. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhishek.
Sure.
Really appreciate you for giving the introduction. So, yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join in today's session. So, as I mentioned, like my name is Gursimran Singh, and I am here as a speaker for today. So, I basically hail from Lucknow, and I currently serve as a MuleSoft Meetup speaker. I am also a MuleSoft mentor. I am a certified MuleSoft developer. I have around total of 3.5 plus years of experience. And apart from this, I am also a MuleSoft industry champion. I completed my MBA in ITSM from NMIS Mumbai. Also, currently, I am pursuing data science using AI/ML course degree from IT Delhi. So apart from this, I have done few other certifications in a couple of other tech stacks like Solis and Workato. So that was all about myself. Yeah. So currently, I'm working in entity data, and prior to this, I was working for one of the big four firms. That's for Deloitte. So let's start with the today's agenda. So, in today's meetup, we would like to discuss about the platform events. We will discuss regarding some of the basic terminologies, use case, streaming APIs. So, here we will discuss regarding the Salesforce streaming APIs and the different types. Then we will discuss regarding the bias protocol, comedy, long polling. Basically, these are the internal terms for the Salesforce streaming APIs, which we need to understand to get the concept of integration clear. Then we will understand about the platform events and how we can set up it. After we have done the setup, we also need to trigger that platform event. So we will be discussing about how to setting up the Apex trigger or the button for triggering those events. Yeah, so once the event is triggered, then we will write to subscribe to that event or integrate the MuleSoft with those events. So then we will try to understand the Salesforce connector operations and how we can subscribe to those platform events. So once the platform events are covered, we will discuss on some of the legacy events which were prior to the platform events. So these were generic events. In order to push generic custom notification, we will need to create a streaming channel. So how we need to set up generic events and streaming channel, we will discuss in detail on that. So yeah, so once that's created, we will trigger those events and subscribe them using MuleSoft. Then we will compare between the different streaming events which are possible. Yeah, and then we will move to the demo. So that's all the today's agenda. I will try to cover it as much briefly as I can. Yeah, but if anyone has any question, they are free to ask in chat. So let's move to some of the basic terminologies here. So in order to understand this integration better, so we need to understand like some of the important terminologies which we will refer in the later stage of this meetup. So event, like an event is a change in state that is meaningful in a business process. So let's say like a system is in a particular state, and due to some external factors or any trigger, its its state got changed. So in that case, like an event will be generated. So it could be either a CDC event, platform event, post topic, or a generic event. Yeah, so these are the four types of events like which are supported through the streaming API in Salesforce. Event message, so a message that contains data about the event. So basically, you can say like in MuleSoft terms, like a payload which you will get like after an event is generated. Event producer, so a system which will publish that event over a channel, that is called the event producer. Event consumer, it's basically a subscriber to a channel that receives the message from the channel. So in our case, like as we will be integrating MuleSoft with Salesforce APIs, so our case, event consumer will be a MuleSoft connector. So channel is basically, you can say, like an event bus, like or a queue which will transmit those events. So event consumer like subscribe to the channel to receive those messages, also referred to as event bus in Salesforce. Okay, so let's come to the streaming APIs. Basically, in Salesforce, we have a very important term that's called streaming APIs. So through streaming APIs, we can enable the transmission of real-time data from the Salesforce platform. So directly to the Salesforce platform, we can create and trigger those events without having explicitly to code using, we can use like a clicks and trigger button to do that. So basically here the data is transmitted using push technology. Like it refers to that the information is initiated from a server to the client. It's also called a publish subscribe model because at one place like we are publishing the data, and we can also subscribe the data using any integration tool like MuleSoft or any other technology like Node.js or Comet. So, what's the use case here? So, basically, it provides real-time data management and integration. By leveraging these APIs, business can enhance their operational efficiency, responsiveness, and overall competitiveness. So, here, like in real time, if any of the business requires any notification, for example, there's a cab booking system. So, in real time, like the passenger and the one which the mobile notification, they want it in real time. So in that case, like we can use this platform events. There could be many other use cases which we will discuss in detail. Yeah, so as I mentioned, like it supports multiple type of events including push topics, generic platform events, change data capture events. So here in today's event we will be talking strictly with respect to platform events and generic events. So there will be one more topic like scheduled on 10th of July. That's a meetup. So there will be discuss about the CTC event push topics. Yeah.
Well,
So let's discuss here. Yeah.
just to correct, 10th of August, not July.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Abhishek. Yeah. Thanks for. So streaming API contains a persistent connection that continuously send updated data to the user until the connection is terminated. So basically, like once it's like you can say it's triggered, so the a connection is established between the publisher and subscriber. So until there is a subscriber which subscribe to the message, like it keeps that connection. It does not terminate that connection. So it's a very useful feature. Yeah, otherwise if it will terminate the connection like in some time, like we would have lost the data. But there is still some limitations which we'll discuss in detail. So streaming APIs are perfect when a user needs to consume a constant flow of rapidly updating live data. So wherever there is a live data which we need to consume through any system, we can use this. and we can also send responses back with the updated information until the connection is eventually closed by the user. So until and unless like the connection is closed by any of the system or the user, this will be keep on sending the real-time data. Okay. So this is a bit I would like to explain through a flowchart, but let me just cover to this slide. Yeah, so I think once I move from this slide, I will cover this through a dotted IO diagram so that it will be more clear. So streaming API internally uses BAX protocol and Comet D for long polling. So BX is a protocol for transporting asynchronous messages primarily over HTTP. Comet D is a scalable HTTP based event routing bus that uses AJAX push technology pattern known as Comet. So this Comet internally implements this protocol. So long polling, which is called as Comet programming, allows this information push from a server to the client. So this I'm telling like how internally in Salesforce this is happening. So internal to Salesforce, like to use platform events, which they were introduced in I think summer 16th. So they use this protocol internally. So similar to a normal poll, the client connection and request information from the server. Yeah. So as I mentioned, instead of sending an empty response if information is not available, the server holds the request and waits until the information is available. That's when an event will occur. Then the server will send the complete response to the client. So there's a kind of like authentication happening with between the server and the client. So the client immediately re-requests the information. So it continually maintains a connection to the server. So it always waiting to receive a response. In case of timeouts, the client connects and again and start over. So as I mentioned here, like there's this server and client. So there's once we send the request, the server sends a response, sends the update. So there's a bisync connection happening between the server and the client using a publish subscribe model. Now, as I mentioned, like the event supported by this streaming APIs. So basically, we have two types of event. First is the platform events, and the second one is the chase data events. So whenever a notification is triggered or an event is triggered, so we will trigger a platform event. So if we want to trigger a custom notification and we want to notify the other system that the event is triggered, something has happened, so we would trigger a platform event. So this platform event, this is the second generation here. So prior to that, like it was using generic events. So we will discuss both of them. It's still not outdated. Like many like systems are still using the generic events, so it's also important to discuss that. Next, coming to this CDC event. So whenever there's a change happening in any of the system, for example, in any of the like let's take an example of this cab booking system. So they have their data in CRM. So suppose the user changes his username or maybe his phone number there. So once this change is done, event will be triggered. So this event will contain all the change information with respect to each of the fields in the payload. Yeah. So this is the work of change data capture events, and the first generation of this was push topic, and that's also in use currently. It's still not removed from the Salesforce. So we will discuss these both of these CDC and push topic in the 10th of August. Yeah. So yeah, so four different APIs built around a shared model. So basically all these four uses a same model, that's publish subscribe push top technology with replicating capability. So the common use cases, as I mentioned, real-time notification, automation, data replication, audit, and compliance. Yeah. So now I think it's time to I will cover these one two slides and then I will move to the flowchart diagram. So push topic, like as I mentioned, it will stream the Salesforce changes based on SQL. So basically, we can query this change events using SQL for push topics. But for CDC, we cannot use SOQL. So it's a new version of push traffic with much updated features and advanced capabilities. So the other thing is the platform event. So platform event, as I mentioned, if they want to trigger an event notification, like we would use a platform event. Uh, the legacy version of this was generic streaming events. Like in the case of generic streaming events, like it will publish arbitrary string value. So, this is a diagram to explain, like, it's the moving from, if you want to move from this point to point to an event-driven system. So, most as you see here in the today's IT landscape, most of the business organization they are want to move from point to point to an event-driven system, which will update the all the systems in real time. So here, where the concept of event bus, or you can say a kind of queue, comes. So as there are different systems, like if you want to connect to Salesforce, SAP, SAP, Oracle, Workday, AWS. So instead of connecting each of the system one by one, we can connect them through a common event bus. So here, like it will be more faster, and we can persist the data, and we will not uh, like it will be a like a kind of long lasting integration. Yeah, so I think, yeah, now it's time to make to an example here. Okay. uh, so as I mentioned here, let's take an example of a cab ride booking system. So I will just try to explain this internal concepts over 2 3 minutes clearly, so that it will be better to understand the demo. So as I mentioned, we are taking an example of cab ride booking system. So here, like passenger books a ride. So I think, yeah, most of you here have used any of the cab booking system. Like here in India, we have Ola, Uber, yeah, so Rapido. So the booking system generates a cab ride booked event. So there, like once this cab ride booked event is generated, we need various systems need to interact with this event, notifying the driver, calculating the fare, and sending the confirmation to the passenger. So here, like an event, what will be the event here? So an event could be an occurrence such as a cab ride being booked. So like as I mentioned, a cab ride is booked. So let's take an example: a passenger books a ride here. Okay, so once a passenger will book a ride here, then there will be a, like once a passenger will book a ride, like there will be a booking system event producer. So that will be sync in that here. So like a event message, like there would be event message. So the event message will contain the data about the event, including the ride ID, passenger details, pickup location. So this will be kind of platform event. So once this is triggered, like it will contain the information regarding the ride ID, passenger details, pickup location, destination, time of booking. So event producer here will be the booking system that generates and publishes the event. Event consumer could be like the system, like the driver notice system, billing system, customer notice system, the license for updates. So there would be a channel, a communication pathway named like a cab ride book, through which the event message will be transmitted. You can say like it's kind of queue. Uh, so an event bus, the infrastructure that routes the event message from producers to the consumers. So once this passenger books ride, then we have this booking system here. So this will be a event producer. Then after this event is produced, we will have a this internal to Salesforce event bus. So this is a kind of you can say bus or a queue which would store this event data. Yeah. So once this event bus comes into picture, like there will be kind of channels. Like there will be a cab route byte channel. Like this is the channel. Like you can say it's a kind of stream which will contains all the data. So we have this event bus. Let me move three box here. Okay. So for this particular event producer booking system, we can have multiple consumers. So one consumer could be a driver notification system, like the driver gets notified, like an event is produced. Other could be a billing system, so the billing team could be informed, like for the payment, like this particular event as per the data which is being stored in this event bus. The other could be the for the customer or the user who books that ride. So there could be a customer notification system channel. Sorry, consumer. So internally, like it will have some database system which will send this confirmation here. So here, like we are trying to understand what's the event producer, what's the event bus, what is the event consumer here. The driver notification system, billing system, customer notification system will receive the event message through this cab ride channel and take appropriate action. This will ensure that all the necessary systems are notified and they can like react to the new ride booking in real time. So basically it will keep in sync all the system. Okay, so now let me try to go through this. So this is the basic concept of which we will POC which we go through, and let's try to understand internally this BIX protocol, comment D, and long calling, how this is happening inside the Salesforce. So, as I mentioned, this BIX protocol is a transfer protocol used for async communication between a client and a server. So it's designed to facilitate like real-time messaging and data transfer. So this protocol will be useful for streaming data and in web application for event-driven application. So when a passenger will request a ride, a new event is generated, and this will be published to Salesforce platform events. These events are streamed to subscribers. So using BIX protocol, we add the commit ID. So these are the events which will be produced. These will be streamed to subscribers using this particular protocol via this commit D. And then once this events are streamed, the driver mobile app or any of the consumer is subscribed to the event channel using polling. Okay, so let's try to understand here. We have a passenger request a ride. Once this rise is sorry when this ride is triggered, like a Salesforce platform event will be generated. So once this platform event is generated, we have this comet D server, which will stream the data using this BIX protocol. Once this data is streamed using a particular streaming channel, we have three of the consumers: driver notice system, billing team, customer notice system. So any of those, like for example, a driver's mobile app will subscribe this data using long polling mechanism. Once that's done, the driver will receive the ride request notification. Okay, so that was the whole protocol. Like a passenger will initiate a ride request, server will publish the ride request to the Salesforce platform event. Like Salesforce platform event, basically here acts as the event broker. Comedy server will manage the real-time streaming of events using this BIX protocol. The driver mobile app will subscribe to the event channel using long polling mechanism that will receive the notification real time. So that's how this thing is happening internally. Okay. So the other thing is the about the streaming APIs. As I mentioned, like we have there are four kind of streaming APIs here. Oh, sorry, 1 minute. This. We would have a platform event, and then we have generic event. We would have CDC. Then we have push topic. Okay, so basically the platform event, it's a kind of custom notification with predefined schemas for specific business processes. It will not display any change request. So if there's any change of the data, like it will not basically capture that in the payload. It will basically like capture only the payload which is changed, and not the change which is happening. Like for like earlier it was this, and in the newer version it is this. So generic events, like it's similar to platform events. Like it's an old version to platform events. Now the CDC events, like notification for changes in Salesforce, like records to keep external system in sync. Push topics, like notification for changes in data based on SQL query results. So it is also an old version of this one, CDC event. Okay, so these two, like you can like say as one type, and these two events you can say as the second type. So in today's meetup, which we were considering only this left side events. That's a platform and generic events. Okay. Uh, so the platform events, as I mentioned, like we can use platform events. Let me move to that slideshow. We can use platform events to connect business processes, Salesforce, and external sources to the exchange of real-time event data. So they are secure and scalable. So whenever, like as I mentioned, like there's this uh, eternal tools. We have this comedy long calling happening here. Okay, I think I erased the red one. Yeah, so like we have this streaming bus, event bus, which is through in the streaming channel, which is transmitting this data. So once this data is being transmitted, it is only be able to read this data by the subscriber and the producer. So no other system in between can read this data. So basically, it's secure and scalable. Unless and until we establish a connection with other system, no third party can be able to break through this data. So it's very secure kind of. So we can define fields to customize your platform event data. So it works on event-driven architecture as compared to the point-to-point, which we just mentioned. We have a message that will stay in the event bus for up to 72 hours. As I mentioned, you cannot retrieve the platform event using SQL. Some of the consideration here when deploying apps in a distributed environment, such as runtime cluster, the source must run on the primary node. So, can anyone tell like what could the reason for this? I think it's already mentioned here. Okay, so basically, the running the source on multiple nodes, like in a server, like it causes duplicate event consumption and object store data corruption. So if you are running this on multiple nodes, like it could happen, like the data is could get corrupted if we have a huge amount of events or data, which is happening like in every seconds. So it's a best practice to keep that in a distributed environment using on the primary node. So each event that travels through a flow contains information about the Salesforce data that changed, including how the data changed and when the change occurred. It is important to monitor the use of platform events proactively. So this is another important point. So like this platform events which are being introduced by Salesforce, these have a limitations like to a particular org, like we can generate around 10,000 in 24 hours or so. So they are kind of subscription which you need to buy. So for the free one, like a trial account, we don't have much events. Yeah, but if we are working for a like for example a real-time booking system or we have a business, so we can purchase this subscription to get more uh, events trigger. So in case like still the limit is exceeded, we get an error message when we hit this allocation limit. The error message will be 403 organization total limits, daily limit exceeded. So we have a way to handle that in the connector, which we'll discuss in detail. Yeah, so this is the one which I already explained. Like we have this event bus, event producer, event consumer, use of platform events, delivering custom notification, real-time monitoring, encrypting platform event address in the event bus, subscribing to events, testing a platform event in Epics. So we can monitor platform event publishing and delivery usage. So real-time use cases, as I mentioned, that's of the cab booking system. Other than that, like recently I worked for an integration, like where we have this new lead management, like where we have a new lead is created in Salesforce. So in that case, like we need to trigger a platform event when a lead is created or updated in Salesforce, like an update to the marketing system. Like we have this Marketo connector, HubSpot in real time. So MuleSoft will subscribe to that event and will push the lead information to this marketing system. So by using this, like what's the outcome? Like this, the other team marketing team is immediately notify of the new leads, enabling quickly follow up. So it's basically in real time with no delay. So it's very useful in that case. We can also use this for synchronizing this with ERP. We have a ERP system, let's say an SAP. So a product price is updated in Salesforce. In that case, like a platform event will be triggered. Like then the new sort will subscribe to that event and synchronize the updated price with the ERP system. So here, like because the change is happening, we will use a CDC event. So here the outcome will be like the pricing information across system will remain consistent, reducing errors in billing and quotes. So now the platform event creation. So we can create the platform events using Salesforce UI that I will just cover. Platform event trigger. We can trigger this platform events using an Apex code in Salesforce. We can use a process builder. We can use flows. We can use Salesforce APIs. So we have two kinds of published behavior. So we have this publish after commit. We have this event message published only after the transaction commit successfully. So we can either use this or we can use publish immediately. So in that case, event message is published when the publish call executes. So we have both of the two options while we are creating Salesforce platform events. So we can use either of these two. Next come the static streaming events. Let me go through creation of platform events quickly, and then I will come back to here. Yeah.
Gursimran, before we
Yeah.
go to another one, are few questions which
Mhm.
maybe you can uh, s-
Okay.
answer. So, Sandeep Bhoge is asking, like, usually in relay channel also it will work the same scenario. Can I know why we need to push topic instead of relay channel? Is there any specific advantage to that?
Okay. Yeah. So Sandeep, if I'm spelling correctly, your name Sandeep. It's Sandeep, correct?
Yeah, Sandeep. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have this CDC event. We have this push topic. So to use the CDC
Mhm.
event, uh, we have to use in MuleSoft replay channel listener, which you are mentioning, correct?
Yep. Yes. So basically, that for platform event also we are using the replay channel listener only, right?
No. For platform events, we are using subscribe channel listener. So these are different components. So if we use a subscribe channel, try to use a subscribe channel listener in CDC, we will not be able to get the data. So subscribe channel listener will only get the particular payload. It will not be able to capture the change event. So if we have a CDC event, we have to use a replay channel listener for this platform event. Like if we have a platform event, we have to use a subscribe channel listener. In case of platform event, in case like there's no change or there's a change, like we will use a replay channel listener. So this replay channel
Let's
listener,
say,
yeah,
let's say if
we
we are
have
creating any new payload in that Salesforce object, at that time, this subscribe channel listener will work.
no, that will not work. In that case, we would have a CDC. So in case of platform events, we can use a subscribe channel listener either or a replay channel listener, both of them. Okay. But in case of CDC event, we this platform events subscribe channel listener will not work. So
Yeah.
replay
So
channel will work.
in the CDC, basically, if there is any change is going to happen in that particular Salesforce object, then
Hmm.
that change is going to reflect in that particular. I mean, we can subscribe. I mean, we can get the data into the MuleSoft through replay channel listener. Am I right?
Correct. Correct.
But
Correct.
I just wanted to know that subscribe channel listener. Where I mean, in which scenario we are going to use that subscribe channel listener?
Okay, so if we have a custom notification, so as I mentioned, in case of a lead is generated through a ERP
Hmm.
system, and we want to capture the other system, just want to capture that lead. Yeah, there's no change in any other system. There's no change in the payload or no new payload is created. So in that case, we will use a subscribe channel listener. So basically,
Okay.
for platform events, you can use both subscribe channel listener as well as replay channel listener to listen to platform events. But in any change event, we need to use a replay channel listener only. So if you come to like I will just demo in 2 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine for
Hmm.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we have one more from Hariharan. He's saying, are we referring the Mule ESB as the Salesforce event bus?
No. So basically here, like this platform events streaming APIs is internal to Salesforce. These are being published and triggered internal to Salesforce. So here we have a Salesforce event bus. So if you are using any queues in MuleSoft, then we can say MuleSoft event bus or MuleSoft queue. But here, like this, events are being triggered again through a Salesforce event bus. That's different from Mule bus.
Cool.
Okay, is that
Yeah.
clear, Ariel?
Yeah. We have one question from Shyam, and Sandeep has answered that, but still I want to present that. So after event is being subscribed by MuleSoft, and in case of any downstream failure, which Mule app may be calling, can we push the event message back to event bus? so that it can be reprocessed.
Okay, so yeah, like let's take an example. Like you are, sorry, who asked this question? Can you
Shyam.
remember? Sham. Yeah. So yeah, Sham. Let's take an example here. Like we have a publisher like generates an event, and a MuleSoft will subscribe that event. So you are asking like in case of any failure of that event, so we can like store that data here. We
Yeah,
can.
push the event back to the event bus, like how in queue we can do, right? Either that
Yeah,
letter
yeah.
queue or maybe the circuit breaker thing. So the same
Okay.
way.
Okay. So in that case, like there are a few options. Yeah. So as I mentioned, like in internal to MuleSoft, like once we have this Salesforce platform event which is being triggered. So if they are triggered, like we can use in MuleSoft we can use kind of queues which will store this persistent data, or we can use a kind of persistent mechanism like in database or an object store which will store the data. And apart from that, we would have some options in the replay channel listener, like we can replay from the last replay id. So if our event that particular event will be failed, we will be able to replay that from that particular replay id if we give that in the connector configuration. So I will just show you, yeah, in few minutes.
So sorry to interrupt you, Gursimran.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, you said, I mean, you have just mentioned about the queue, right? So, if you're, I mean, if you're applying that circuit breaker, automatically it will take care of, I mean, until the downstream system connection establishment, right? Why? Because the circuit breaker will take the
Right.
responsibility to do that. Then, why we need to apply object stores or else any other connector to store the data?
Yeah, yeah, correct. So in that case, like there will be no need of object store. But yeah, but Abhishek was asking like there was any other alternative of using queues. So that's why I
Mhm.
mentioned.
So I
Yeah,
was,
but
yeah, I was given an example like how in queue what we do is like we have dead letter queues. We can assign dead letter queues to our main
Yeah,
queue. Like
yeah. I
suppose,
mean,
correct.
uh,
even if we are having circuit breaker,
mhm,
then there is no need to apply DLQ as well. Why? Because that circuit breaker will take care. I mean, whatever the timeout period we are mentioning, right? So until
right,
that timeout period expiration, if that
yes,
connection, I mean, if the TAN system or down system connection established, then there is no need to create any DLQ. Circuit breaker will take care of that message, and circuit breaker only will push that message once the
yeah.
connection establishes, right?
I agree with that, but
Mhm.
uh, it can be either one of them. But suppose like there are a scenario and that is like a very minimal use case, maybe like it doesn't happen, but maybe now suppose you know the down system is going to be down for a particular amount of time. So if you have
Mhm.
circuit breaker and that is going to keep on pinging because you already have a defined time over there, and in
Yes.
that same application you have got other process also which you don't want to stop, so you cannot stop the complete process. Okay, you cannot do the
Okay.
modification directly to your api because you need to do her redeployment. In that case you can attach a dlq so that if there are errors, that message will directly go to dlq and your queue will be your queue will get empty
Yeah,
in that case, and
it will
also you are
work
not facing
seamlessly
a.
in parallel way. I got it.
Yes, right.
Correct,
That's
correct,
where
correct.
like can be an option where you can have both circuit breaker as well as DLQ, and that can be an exception case.
Okay,
But
gotcha, gotcha.
Abhishek,
Yeah.
this circuit breaker is not, something to reprocess the message, right? It is just like a reconnection
No,
strategy.
no. See,
Correct.
circuit breaker works like until you get a connection to the end system,
Correct. That's what I'm
everything.
saying. Because
Huh?
it's a reconnection strategy, right? So you have to use the combination of DLQ or any other queue if you want to store the real time data, right?
Yeah, so
Because
that's a exception I'm saying. Like if you want to do that, you can attach your DLQ with your queue in order, like okay, your down system is going to be down for a particular period of time, and the circuit breaker is keep on pinging at particular amount of time, and you don't want to like keep that going on. So you want to remove the message. So manually you cannot remove the message directly. Either you can create a separate flow where you are connecting your primary to some other queue to remove the message, or you can have DLQ because making the changes in the API means redeploying that, which may
so
affect other flows as well, and we don't want to do that. So these
Yeah,
are
I
some
think.
alternative what we can do. Circuit breaker
I
keeps on checking the system, pinging that, where again you can set like on what different error types you want to keep the circuit breaker. You can choose
Correct.
that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
in an extreme scenario where you know the system is going to be down, you can have that alternative of using a DLQ. So I was just giving an example, like mostly we do either of the cases, we don't do together, but if you want to do, that is also possible.
Yeah, I think to summarize this, Abhishek,
Yeah.
like let's say if you are having one queue which is going to one end system, maybe that is a database. So
Right.
the database is down for 1 hour. If you're
Mm-hmm.
maintaining the timeout timing for the particular circuit breaker, like
Mm-hmm.
let's say 30 minutes we have mentioned, okay. So
Right.
it will trigger twice in a particular 1 hour, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to, that is a first message we can say. I mean that is going passing through database, and we have another database which is Postgres we can think, and
Mm-hmm.
that I mean to that particular Postgres, if we wanted to process the second message,
Mm-hmm.
then if we pass that first message into DLQ,
Mm-hmm.
then we can pass the second message into Postgres parallelly. That is what you are trying to say. Am I right?
Uh, Not exactly. What I wanted to say is
Mm-hmm.
processing is one thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we don't want to process the first one and want to do it second, that is another one. What I was saying is, now suppose you know, like at a particular amount of time, for a particular
Mm-hmm.
amount of time, your end system is going to be off. It won't be
Okay.
working, and
Mm.
you have set up your circuit breaker like it will try for every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you say, but your
Okay.
end system is going to be down for 2 hours or 3 hours. So
Okay.
your circuit breaker is going to ping on every 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
Which is of no use because you
Yeah.
know it is going to be down.
It is already under maintenance. Yeah.
So, right. So in that case, if you want to remove the message from there so that it doesn't keep on pinging every 10 minutes,
Mm.
you can remove the message from the queue with two or three different ways. Either you put a DLQ, okay,
Mm.
so which will be directly attached to your primary queue, and it will automatically get all the messages which are rejected. That is one way. Second way is you create another flow which will be taking the message from your primary queue to some other queue for that particular temporary time,
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
right? Yeah, so I was mentioning in that way.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. But cool, that's a great discussion. Thanks, Sam, for putting that up. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks team. I think today the team is very interactive. So yeah, I really appreciate for asking question. Yeah, Abhishek also for answering the question of Sandeep. Yeah, thank you. I'm audible, correct?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so we will discuss regarding the platform event creation trigger I mentioned. Yeah, so let's quickly go through this platform events. Then yeah, I will just come back to this slide. Okay. So we have this Salesforce here. We have I think like created a trial account for this meetup purpose. So if you go to this quick find and search platform events here, yeah. So here we will be able to see the platform events like which are there, and we can also create a new platform event. So for this meetup purpose, I'm using this RFC OQRFC platform event. Yeah, otherwise I will just show you quickly how we can create a new platform event through Salesforce UI. So we need to give a label here, like uh, the event, like suppose we can say like uh,
Maybe Lucknow or Max
yeah,
birthday
yeah.
something.
Okay, so we have this label and we have rural labels, object name, description if you want to mention. So this is the behavior which I was mentioning. Publish behavior, it will be published after commit and publish immediately. So yeah, as I mentioned, can someone here in the meetup can tell what will be the difference in two of them? Anyone can unmute and speak.
Sorry,
Is
ma'am.
it
Can you repeat?
before save and after save?
Sorry, can you come again? Before?
Uh, so let's say you are operating on a Salesforce case record. There is a pick list field. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
contract status. Okay, it
Mm-hmm.
was having some XYZ status, and we are saying, I mean, we are switching from XYZ status to contract accepted. Let's say, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
there will be some time taken by Salesforce to save that record, right?
correct.
So before saving that itself, the platform event would get triggered. This is my understanding. It may be wrong, but yeah, I mean, correct me if
Okay,
I'm incorrect. Yeah.
sure, sure. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, they want to pitch
Yes,
in.
it's basically the uh, publish after commit means once after the DML completion, it will publishes. Publish immediately means before or like concurrently while executing the DML, it will initiate the platform.
Yeah, yeah. So correct. Yeah. Basically, like like once we create this particular platform event, and after like that, if we create a event, so the event message will be published only after the transaction will be committed successfully. So in that would be the case in publish after commit. And in case like if we don't want to be dependent on the event message, if we just want to like whenever a publish call will be like, or whenever a trigger will be executed, we want that event to be published in spite of having like any delay or any errors. So we want to do publish immediately. So it will be recommended to use publish after commit, so that if there is any issues, that will be like notified comprehend. So I'm using this
So,
yeah.
Bhushan ma'am, in that publish after commit, right? So, publish after commit, is it will validate all the mandatory fields before it is committing?
Correct. So we will define some of the fields here. Yeah. So
So, in that case, publish immediately would be somehow lack of things, right? Let's say if you are having name as that event name as a mandatory field, if you forgot to mention that, so publish immediately will work or not?
okay. So yeah. So in that, yeah, publish immediately will work. Like in case like if there's any data issue, still it will like, but the system which will be subscribing that will receive the error.
Yeah,
So
so
publish
then
after.
what is the point to publish immediately? Why? Because anyway, it is going to fail in MuleSoft integration, right? Why?
Correct,
Because it
correct,
will
correct.
check the mandatory fields. Then what is the use of publish immediately?
So basically like in like if you right now we are working on like some like events, but if you're working on this, for example, like Uber or Ola, internally they use this platform events. In like particular second they will get so many things. Yeah. So in case like they don't have a particular system to validate those quickly, or they
Okay,
don't have a
like let's
process.
say in the end system, if there is no validation, then you are suggesting to use publish immediately, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for man. Sorry to disturb you and sorry to interrupt you in between.
No, that's fine, Sandeep. Like that's what we want to have an interactive. Like we all are in learning phase, so it's
Okay.
not we know everything, but we are expecting to ask some questions from you all so that we also get the knowledge of how actually the thing works. Like even for me, it is a new thing, so I'm also learning what is happening over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Then yeah, then I am good.
Yeah, please feel free to ask any question you have, or please feel free to put your points. Don't hesitate on anything to anyone, please. Yeah, great.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, I am creating this Lucknow meetup. Okay, so once this particular platform event is getting created, so next we have to create couple of fields. Like so, whenever a event will be triggered, like it should have at least one of the fields. So we can create a kind of text. We can make it as a mandatory field, and also assign a default value. In the same way, like instead of text, we can create a checkbox, data type, long. So text will like contain a less number of characters. If like we want to create a custom field, like where we would have a long characters, for example, let's say like like there are multiple we have to multiple names which we want to save here, so we can create a set here using text area long, date and type. So we can define a field label, so anything we can give. So for this, as you can see, for this particular event, we have two fields created. One is text and one is date time. Okay, so this is the way. Basically, this is the way how you create a platform event. I just want to showcase that. So here, like if I go to the or one of the already created event, it's for the OQR FCE. We have this account ID, account name, and the event time. That's a date time field. Okay. Now this is the platform event creation. Now coming to the platform event trigger. So platform event trigger, like we can trigger it using an Apex code, using a process filter, or using a flows also. So here, for the sake of simplicity, like I'm using Apex trigger. So otherwise, if you are a Salesforce developer, you have experience in the LWC, you can also create a button easily. Like if you click on that button, an event will be triggered. So that will be helpful in real-time business use case where uh, like a system don't like manually wants to run that code again and again. So they will run automatic process to trigger that button. Yeah, so just click a button will be here in accounts. So we will click on that and event will be created. So let me show you how you move to that. So if you go to the setup and move to the developer console. So I have this code basically. Yeah, if you guys have know basics of Java, so I have created a class public platform event. So we have this publish event. So here, like I am trying to like trigger this from the account object. So we have an account ACC, and this is the query which will be triggered when we like call this event. So we can give any query here. So based on a particular account, I have given like where name equal to where if the name of the account is Meetup 27. So in that case, this will be triggered. So otherwise, you can give on based on ID also, or any, basically I mean to say any unique identifier. It could be ID or name. So they would be, we can give that particular account ID of that particular account. So this is like we have created a static class function. So here we are using this to define the method. So the fields which have created, as I mentioned, we have account ID, account name, and event time. So we have initialized this account ID, name, and event type, and we are publishing this through this event bus. So basically, this is a very easy Apex code. Yeah, if anyone wants to, yeah, like I can share in chat. So to trigger this flow, trigger this particular meetup event, we can use a debug, open, execute, a numinous window. Otherwise, we can directly pass like click on Control E. So basically, this is the class name dot method name. So basically, if we have to want to call this Java class, we will trigger this. So a event will be triggered here. Okay, so this is basically the setup in developer console which we have did to execute this. So I think this is covered. Platform events trigger. So guys, let me quickly cover this generic events also in PPT quickly. So after that, I will just go through this demo. So generic streaming events, like as I mentioned, generic streaming events enable you to publish event message with an arbitrary string value that the client receives. We can use generic events when you want to send and receive custom notifications. We can use generic streaming events to publish and receive arbitrary payloads in JSON without a predefined event schema. We can broadcast notification to number of subscribers or clients. Systems which are external to Salesforce, like which can subscribe to that event. Like here in our case, we have MuleSoft. We can also do using other technologies like maybe Boomi. To use generic events, you need the following. Like we use a streaming channel that defines that channel with a name that is case sensitive. We will need to have one or more subscriber or the clients which are being subscribed to that particular channel. Uh, can someone tell like if we don't have a subscriber or client like created? So and like let's take an example from the Salesforce side also or from an external system also, we don't have any subscriber. So what will happen in that case?
I guess the events will be staying in the queue for 72 hours or equal to 7, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So basically, there's a time like I think 72 hours. Yeah, based on the subscription. So we like this event will stay in the event bus for that much, and once the subscriber is available, it will be able to read that event. In case like still like after that much time the subscriber is not available, the event will be deleted from that event bus. Okay, so we have the streaming channel push REST API. Here we can monitor the any more push events on the channel. So streaming channel, like as I mentioned, to use the generic events, we need to create a streaming channel. We can represent a channel on the basis for notifying the listeners for the generic streaming APIs events. This is available in API version like 29.0 and later. So we have this API version in Salesforce. So it keeps on updating. So after API version 29, it was available. So streaming channel is used to push a generic custom message, and we can subscribe those event message for further processing. By leveraging these channels, uh, business can operate enhance their operation efficiency, responsiveness, and overall like flexibility of the system. Basically, like if you have multiple systems uh, connected to that particular Salesforce, so basically using a middleware, we can uh, like pass that custom notification to multiple systems. So basically, it's enabled the business to stay agile and in real time respond promptly to the changes and synchronize the data. So creating a streaming channel, like we in the Salesforce UI, we can create a streaming channel. Like uh, you must have the streaming API permissions enabled in your organization. So they are like in the settings we go, like we have this streaming API permission. You have to enable that. We have to log into developer edition organization. So basically, as I mentioned, this is a kind of generic event. So like it's a legacy version of this platform events. So currently, we are using this Lightning version. So prior to that, like because this generic events and streaming channel, they were introduced using during the time of Salesforce Classic, which is still available. I will not say like it's not moved. It's still available, but most of the organization are moved to Salesforce Lightning. So mostly like if you want to see the data, we have to switch to Salesforce Classic. So if you're using Salesforce Classic, under all the tabs, we have to select streaming channels. If you are using Lightning Experience from the app launcher, we are using select all items and click streaming channels. On the streaming channels page, we click new to create a streaming channel. Like so, a streaming channel which will be created that should start from this /u. So that's mandatory. So basically, if you are subscribing those to MuleSoft, that we have to give this particular name from /u dot streaming channel. So then we select on save. We have just created a streaming channel, and the client can subscribe for notification. Yeah, so this is another screenshot. So coming to some of the metrics, you can see here, like there are some of this subscription. So based on those, we have number of streaming channels per organization. We have number of concurrent clients, subscribers across all the channels. We have maximum number of delivered event notification within a 24-hour period based on the internal technology which I mentioned for the community clients, and for the with durable generic streaming events, API version 37 and later. Then we have maximum number of delivered event notification. So basically for the enterprise, professional, free orgs, and performance unlimited edition, we have some different metrics. Yeah. Okay. So here, let me go to this quickly. So how do you go to the streaming channel? Like you have this app launcher. So you click on here, maybe open a new tab. So yeah, here we are using Lightning. So we might have currently we are seeing three channel names: ABCD, ABC, and notifications. Example here, we want to create a new streaming channel. We can click on new streaming channel name. We can give anything. Yeah, description. Just if you click on description, it will be created. It will be available here. So these are the recently viewed. Uh, directly, like all, it will not show in Lightning. Otherwise, we have to switch back from here to the Salesforce Classic. Again, we have to switch back. So otherwise, this generic events, we will be able to query through this SQL query. So basically, I think you all know this one. Like if we do a data export to a Salesforce Expector, we open ending up this Salesforce Expector, and we can query here. So here I am like fetching the ID name, owner ID created by username from the streaming channel. So here, like as you can see, like I have these many streaming channels which are being created here. So these are my username, name. We have this owner ID, which will be basically the same for an org. So for my org, the owner ID will be the same. For an org which is created by Abhishek, that will be different. Yeah, for any third party, like any other person will be creating, like the owner ID will be different as for the different users. ID. So this is pertaining to that particular streaming channel which is created. So it's unique. So for the particular stream channel, like this ID will be different from the other streaming channel created. Okay, so that's I think that covered this thing. And now let me quickly go through this one. Yeah, let me quickly move to the demo, and then I will call over the operations. Okay, operations. So we have this MuleSoft connector setup. So for this meetup, like for just for simplicity purpose, I am using this basic auth. I'm using a username password security token. Here, this subside channel listener, I will display so we have to mention the streaming channel here. Then we have this publish platform event message. So the thing like we are tackling this right now from Apex. Like I just showed you in this console. So right now, we will be triggering Apex, but if you want to trigger from our MuleSoft side, like generic event, we can use this connector. So we can also right now I showed you how to create a streaming channel through this one new option through Salesforce UI. We can also create our own custom new streaming channel through a Salesforce connector. MuleSoft connector. Then we can also push generic events using MuleSoft. Yeah, so now let's move to the demo. Okay, so before that, I think most of you guys have worked on this Salesforce connector, but still, I will just quickly go through this one. So we have this account. If you click on our account, and if we click on settings, yeah, so we have this. Okay, this already. Yeah, yes, reset, but my security token. So here, like you can see the username, password, and you can reset the security token. So if we reset, and we need to configure that in our MuleSoft connector. So yeah, I hope my studio is visible for everyone. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I just mentioned this one just for security purpose. I have hardcoded this one. So this is my username, password, and security tokens. This is the same basic all I will be using in my whole demo. So just wanted to notify you all here. Okay. So this is the subscription listener. Like I think Sandeep you were asking. So this is one of the a character like which I will demo right now. I think you were asking like in which case we will use this. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we have this one. So here like I am using I will bring in this particular account with name Meetup 27. Okay, so this is done, and if we do a control E and we click on execute, let me put a breakpoint. Yeah, it's already there. Okay, so as you can see here, like we are subscribing to this event RFCE here, and we have this payload. So let me copy this payload for you. So you can see the fields here: account ID, event time, created date, account name, Vita 27 I've figured. So that's being reflected here. We can also see the API name and the channel here. Yeah, so this is triggered. So yeah, this is the uh, use case, Sandeep. Yeah, so it's like if you trigger that event, it's able to subscribe here. So some of the other configurations I just wanted to show, like if we have a connection pool or the TTL, we can security TLS we can define here. That one minute. So in advanced section, if we go, we can also set up this streaming strategy. Yeah. So here are two options: primary node only and through exception when organization daily limit exceed. Can someone here explain these two? Yeah, if anyone can guess,
So you
what's the
deployed your Mule application to multiple replicas or nodes,
Mhm.
let's say three replicas.
Yeah.
If an event is published from Salesforce, it would be consumed by all three replicas or all three machines basically. If this checkbox is unchecked, primary node only,
Okay. Correct.
duplicate events will be created. But if you select this one, only one replica or worker will receive the event.
Okay.
And the second checkbox, throw exception when organization daily limit exceeded, there might be some limits on the Salesforce side itself, whatever license they might have purchased.
Hmm.
Let's say 100 limits. Okay, just an dummy example. Okay, if 101th platform event is created within the 24 hours time frame, it will be throwing an exception.
Correct. Yeah. Great. Sorry, I'm in another screen. But what is your name?
Oh, Sham.
Yeah, great, Sham. So I think you guys have. I just explained this in one of this slide here. So yeah, it's important to monitor the usage of platform events. So it will end up like we will be and like exceeding our daily limit. So like like we have to tick box this check in this particular like message to in case like if you don't take this, like there will be error received. The error message is 403 organization total event daily limit exceeded. So once we hit that allocation limit, this error message will be propagated. So for the same purpose, like we can click on this to throw exception when an organization daily limit exceeded. So before that only, like we can do some our settings in the from the Salesforce side. Otherwise, there will be cases like where the data will be lost in it will be translate or in bus. So the Salesforce will be notified that the daily limit is reached. So maybe they could like upgrade their system, or maybe they can try after some time. Okay. So this is of the subscribe channel listener here, and now
So, Gurusimran, in that exception, right? So, I mean, if we select that throw exception strategy, so I mean, is there any other option to reject that? I mean, instead of that, is there any queue set up in the background to stay the messages not rejected if we set any messages as a data daily limit exceeded?
yeah. So for the same thing, like I think we were discussing a couple of minutes back. So we have the Salesforce event bus, which is internal to Salesforce, and
Mm-hmm.
like which will stay this messages I think for a particular time limit, maybe for 72 hours or so. Still, like if that message is not subscribed, then and if the organization daily limit is achieved, so in for example, let's just take a case organization daily limit is received and the messages have not been
Mm-hmm.
subscribed, which is in queue. So in that case, like after that much time, if we are not upgrading our system, the message will be definitely be lost from the event bus. If you still want to like retain that message, maybe in subscriber we can use a queuing mechanism, and we can like subscribe and queue using an
Yeah,
like any
that's
point in
okay. But
queue,
I'm just
like
I
we
was
can
just
access
thinking
that
in the
message.
Salesforce
Yeah,
perspective. Why? Because this subscribe channel is created in our MuleSoft, right? So yeah, if there is any, I
correct,
mean, if
correct.
you are clicking on the throw exception when organization daily limit exceeded, so yeah, you said that, right? Yeah, maybe in service bus, it's that messages will be available until our subscriber message got it.
Yeah, yeah. And not
Yeah,
forever,
some period
it
of
is
time.
also there for 48 or 72 hours. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, thank you for coming up with those questions. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really appreciable. Yeah.
So, Gurusibran, I was wanted to highlight one thing. If you can go back, so Sham was mentioning about
Yeah,
the primary node only, but I think it is important to highlight that the primary node only is not effective in all your deployment strategies, right? For example, if you go with CloudHub one and select primary node only, if you have two workers, you'll still get duplicates. It is very important
correct.
to know that only deployment strategies that support clustering will allow your primary node only to work as desired.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
wanted to add that point, but I just moved to that organization limit. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
fine.
it will be in a cluster only. So as I mentioned, yeah. Thank you for raising this one. So even here it's mentioned here, like when deploying apps in a distributed runtime, such as runtime cluster, those must run on the primary node. So in case like if you're not using a primary node, it might cause some data corruption. Yeah, so that could be the case. Now let's move to this publishing platform event message. So basically these are related to some streaming channels and generic events. Yeah, so we have this platform event name OQRFCE. Like so basically by using this one, like we will be able to like do our event trigger using our MuleSoft. Instead of doing like the one which I showed you right now through Apex, we can trigger that event through here. Basically a generic event. So we will have a payload message we can give. So here I'm writing this test 1986. Then we have this payload. So let me quickly try to trigger this one. So I have defined this endpoint as publish platform event. So I think so. This is the one, and 8081 publish platform event. Let me create a breakpoint here. Okay, so if you see here, we have this ID here. This is the ID for this particular generic event. Okay, so as you can see, this particular event is being triggered. Okay, so let me first copy this payload here. Thing. So as soon as this, as I mentioned, it's real time. These platform events are real time. So as soon as this event is triggered, because we are using the subscribe channel listener, so just subscribe to that event. Yeah, just in a second. So let me copy this one also. There. Okay, so basically it subscribe to that particular event. So this is the one, like if you want to trigger generic streaming events using this connector, we can trigger here. Now coming to publish streaming channel. So just couple of minutes back, I mentioned here like how we can create a new streaming channel through this UI. Let's take an example, like there are n number of developers, like in case of Uber booking ID system, there are different systems. So one is the CRM system, it's working on this streaming channels and this platform events. We have other like external systems and ERP systems which is store the data, and we have integration like iPad systems like MuleSoft or Tell Me or anything. So like they are different teams. So we don't want to give the access to the Salesforce platform events or like this particular org data to everyone in the organization. So instead of them like creating a new channel or event every time, like we can create a public streaming channel through our MuleSoft code also. So here I am just trying to demo that thing. So here I am trying to publish a streaming channel. So here I have this streaming channel name, which I will get from payload. I'm using this publish streaming channel. I'm using that master channel name here. We have this streaming channel output, which I have defined in a variable. So after that, I'm just querying this one. So basically, my motive is to make it dynamic. Instead of that, I would have hard coded that owner ID, because we will know that owner ID to owner ID and that generic event ID to like push the generic event. Otherwise, I would have hard coded. But based on the whatever the channel name is created, like it will be querying those events, and using data weave, I am like filtering that channel ID here. Okay, so after that, I am just storing in our guest store, and in pushing generic events, I am retrieving here. Then I am like forming a payload, like broadcast. This is a custom notification which we send, broadcast generic message data. We have this push generic event. So using this connector, this generic event will be pushed. So this batch.original message, that's this broadcast generic message data, which will be displayed in the custom notification. And this channel ID with the payload, that it will be the this which we have retrieved from here, like after query. So we have this push generic event, and I'm just converting that to JSON. Okay. Okay, so I have this endpoint push generic event. Uh, so first I need to create a public streaming channel. So first I will go to this publish platform event. Let me double check the endpoint. Create streaming channel. Create streaming channel. Sorry, create streaming channel. So as I mentioned, like we have this channel name, which I am just sending in the payload. Maybe you can send in a UI or query parameter also, whatever way you feel. So here I just kept the waypoint. This is fine. Let me give a waypoint here also. Okay. Okay, so this is the payload which we are getting. Okay, so basically this streaming channel will be published, and after this is published, like let me show you quickly. So what I am sending in this, it's you meetup 124. So if I just try to query this one, select ID on ideal limit 100 from here. Yeah, so it's there. Yeah, you moved to 24. So in case like a streaming channel is already present, and if you create a new streaming channel, like it will not like result in any error. So in either of the cases, like the streaming channel already exists, or if you create a new streaming channel, we should be able to create through this. Yeah, so we have this U meetup 124 with this particular ID, and this is the owner ID, which is created by me. Okay, so we have this transform message, then we move this to query this. So basically the query which I'm doing is Salesforce inspector, the same query, yeah, I'm doing here. Okay, so after this, let me copy this one. So here if you see, like all the data is coming in JSON format, like the one which is coming in this inspector. So the same thing I am writing in the query. So I'm storing that in an order store, that one. Uh, this is fine. This is the one. There. So this is the particular channel ID. So for this particular streaming channel, you meetup 124. This is the channel ID which I am storing in the order store. So you can see it's ending with 0A12. So the same here. You can see also here 0A12. Now let me end this flow. Now, as this particular streaming channel is created already, so this streaming channel would carry this generic event or custom notification. It will be a kind of arbitrary string value, which we need want to pass to any system. Like for example, like as I took an example of cab booking system. So in that case, like a cab is booked, like this streaming channel will notify the driver and the user that cab is booked successfully, maybe in a message or an email. So pushing generic events. So we have this endpoint pushing generic events. Let me double check this push generic events. So we are retrieving. Let me keep a breakpoint. I will just trigger this quickly. So here we are retrieving that particular channel ID. Okay, so you see here, this is the same payload A02 which is getting retrieved from here. Then we have this push generic event. Okay, so the payload will be propagating the channel ID. Because we are retrieving here, and this batch.original message. In the batch.original message, we have broadcast sending message data, which I just mentioned. So it's already pushed. Great. Let me do this. So it will be like once this is pushed, like it will this will be the kind of format which will be displayed. User online status fan out count. Okay. So now if we try to see this payload here. So as I mentioned, it's very near to near time. So you see here, you can see here in logs also. So in the same flow, I have created a kept a subscribe generic event streaming channel, subscribe channel listener, and display channel listener. So here you can see here we have this subscribe channel listener, streaming channel, logger message, broadcast generic message data. So the same in the event we have passed this broadcast generated message data. The same in custom notification is being passed here. Broadcast generating message data in the logs. So this is the one for this replay channel listener, and this for subscribe channel listener. Okay. Yeah. So Sandeep, like I hope you are also there, so you are able to understand. Like I
Yeah.
use this both subscribe channel listener as well as replay channel listener here, so both are able
Yes.
to subscribe to this one. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Yes, I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So for this platform events and streaming events, we should be able to subscribe because we just need a streaming channel here. So I have used the same streaming channel, you Meetup 124, which I have created here in that payload. You Meetup 124. We can maybe make it dynamic also if you want, based on the needs. Yeah. So the same I have kept in the subject channel listener, and the same I have kept in the replay channel listener. It's the same. Yeah, I am able to see this data here in the logs with the channel name. Okay, and one more thing, like if in case like there are large number of notifications, and it's advisable not to keep the debug logs. So if you want to enable the debug logs for this, like we can use this, add this in log4j2x.xml, async logger name, mule.extension, Salesforce level to debug. But if we are working on like a platform events or CDC events, which are like mostly I would say, like if we are working on a business use case, so they are like in very huge in numbers. So we should not keep this particular property in log4j2.xml. Otherwise, sorry guys, my throat was a little bit up. So otherwise, if we keep this one, like it will ending up in crashing the system. So there will be a in real time, like we will have so many platform events, 10,000. So yeah, we should remove this one. So I think we covered how to uh, subscribe to this platform events, how we can publish the platform event and generic events through our MuleSoft code. Then yeah, streaming events, how we subscribe this. Uh, then how to create a streaming channel. And once we have the streaming channel created in the Salesforce CI, or we have created a streaming channel through a MuleSoft, we can how to push a generic event through a MuleSoft code, like any custom notification, and how like that your custom notification. So I think that covered most of the points. Let me check this one. Let me do one thing. Let me keep a breakpoint here and one breakpoint here also. And I will just do a push generic event again. Okay, I will just try to resume this one. Yeah, so you can see here it's subscribed by replay channel listener. Next, it's also subscribed by this subscribe channel listener. So ideally, we should not keep both of them. Otherwise, we can end up with having duplicate message. But because you asked the question, so I kept. Okay, so here, as I mentioned, like for platform events, we can use either these two platform event streaming event for CDC event. Like we need to use the replay channel listener. So 1 minute, let me add this replay. Yeah, replay channel listener is already added. So replay channel listener, we have it's maybe you can say it's a kind of advanced version of this sub channel listener. We have some option. We can use replay from the last day ID. Maybe if there's any failure, so internally like it will store this for it will catch the event from some time, and we can give replay from the last replay ID, and we can give a from replay ID also. Where if we give in a particular replay ID, it will replay from that particular ID only new, so it will replay from all the new events. Yeah, so this is also important. Like we need to mark this point. Like we after doing this from last replay ID, we also need to mark this point, like replay failed events if any resume from the last replay ID. So in that case, like if there's as we were discussing some time back, if there's any kind of failure or it's not able to subscribe for some time, it should be able to replay that. Other than that, yeah, the same, like it has, as I mentioned, subscribe channel listener does not have this catch events, but here also we have this catch event. So internally it's using object store, which will catch these events. So it's a very useful feature. Like like if you have this large number of events and they are like the system is experiencing like failures many time or shutdowns or there's any server restart, so like it will catch those events and will persist in memory. Yeah, so let me go to that slide once again. Platform events. Yeah, so I covered this one, pushing generic events, demo I covered.
So, Bursiman, so
Yeah,
in that
so
you have mentioned that there is a cache, right? Cache in memory.
yeah,
Let's say, I mean, if the application got restarted, then automatically, I mean, whatever the data is available in cache, it will clear. So, in which way it is going to use that cache memory option? Cache in
yeah,
memory.
yeah, 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 correct, correct, Sandeep. Yeah, yeah. So sorry. Thanks for correcting. Yeah, it will clear the data. So basically, like basically, if you want, like, it's kind of audit store. Like, if we like you want to persist from the last player ID, like it,
Hmm.
like if there's any system crash or if you restart the system, in that case it will not work. But if in case like if any failure of that particular replay ID, so it will fetch that from that particular replay ID only. It will not fetch from the start. Otherwise, if we keep that, otherwise if we keep that all replay option ID all, like it will keep on fetching all the data from the start again. So it will cause duplication of data. So it's not good practice. So maybe we can keep that from the last replay ID. So whenever there's a failure,
Yeah.
it will replay
Hmm.
from the last replay ID.
Yes, yes, that's yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I created a blog on this on Medium also, sometimes social platform events using MuleSoft. So if anyone wants to go through that, they can go through this. So we have tried to make this events because it's already to us. So that's why we bifurcated these two events in two parts. So the platform event, generic events I have covered today. Next class, like I would on the 10th of August, I will cover the CDC and the push topics. So that's also a very like you can say a very interesting topic, and like mostly in the real time business, the like the cab booking or in lead management, like mostly the organization would use a kind of change data. So we will use this CDC. So in that case, we will use a replace time listener. So maybe that should come on 10th August. So I would request everyone to join on that day also. Let me share this in chat. Yeah, my Medium link. So I think Abhishek and team,
Yeah,
like we are done with the meetup. And if you have anything to share or